Last time, we saw the arrival of two new Saiyans, Broly and Kale, who were hybrids of Universe 7 and Universe 6 Saiyans. The only ones at their kind, it seems. While Gohan, Piccolo, Granola, and Hit encountered them, the other four Saiyans were all training with Beerus, unlocking a new power beyond Super Saiyan God. But where's everyone going to go from here? We'll be seeing all that and more in this part 11 of What If Universe 6 and 7 were merged. Following the encounter on Vampa, Hit and Granola go back off on their own, doing freelance work and such like normal. This was an interesting experience and a great test of their new powers, and they're also surprised to see how much Piccolo and Gohan have grown. It's especially surprising to Hit because he knew that Piccolo was the strongest at some point, but he'd more so been focused on Goku. Maybe he needs to keep an eye on the others too. As for Broly and Kale, they end up coming with the Galactic Patrol. Piccolo and Gohan are going to try and tame their power. As for Paragus, he'll be there too, but mainly be under watch. He's not going to be arrested or anything. They just got to try and cool him down. But Gohan and Piccolo see great potential in Broly and Kale's power, wondering what could be done for the two of them for them to train. These two are actually not brutal Saiyans. They just have uncontrollable anger, and that kind of does make them brutal, but not consciously, of course. Piccolo can see that Paragus probably misled them somehow and controlled them all their life, basically. And maybe with some proper teaching, they could actually grow from that. Gohan offers to train them too. Besides, he had to overcome his own anger and try and control that too, try and harnessing that power and such. He's already kind of been through this and wonders if he could help them with the same sort of experience. A few months pass and eventually the other Saiyans do return to Earth. By now they of course all have Super Saiyan Blue, and Beerus is pretty pleased with their growth. But he does want to see what's been going on here as well, mainly coming here because he wants to get some more food. He figured out that Champa's been coming here for visits once in a while, so Beerus wants to make sure he's not taking all the food for himself or gatekeeping anything. Kappa asks if he's really worried about that, but Beerus says he's never seen a god of destruction eat. Champa's very defensive over his food, and so is Beerus. And Beerus wants to make sure he's truly experiencing everything Earth can offer. But all the Saiyans are looking forward to continue growing in the realm of gods, wondering what new heights they could ascend to next. Goku and Kappa follow Whis' training a lot more closely than Vegeta and Caulifla do, with Whis trying to teach them something like moving automatically, whatever that is. One thing to note here is that while Kappa and Caulifla have greater potential than Goku and Vegeta, it's not significant enough to make a difference because Goku and Vegeta are prodigies in their own right here still. And their potential isn't going to be as overpowered here either. If they grew as quickly as they did in the main story, we'd be having a much different discussion right now. Goku and Vegeta are also more experienced fighters. This keeps them all around a similar strength. I would say Kappa is the strongest of the group though because he has a nice experience with martial arts, maybe not to the level of Goku, but more so than Vegeta and Caulifla. And he has that great Saiyan Saiyan potential working for him as well. But even though he's the strongest, it's not really by much. All of them are still pretty similar in terms of power. They each have their own advantages working for themselves. And once they're back on Earth, they learn some new Saiyans have been found, which is amazing because they weren't aware that any other Saiyans were out there. Even stranger is the fact that they're pure hybrids, Saiyan and Vegetan. Gohan and Piccolo say they are pretty strong, but they don't really want them fighting right now because they can't really control their power. Goku says it can't be that bad, but Gohan says he promises it is that bad. And from what Vegeta's hearing, he wonders if that means they're legendary Super Saiyans or something like that. The two of them are pretty shy and don't talk much. Caulifla kind of takes a liking to Kale though, while Vegeta and Goku are interested in seeing more of Broly's power. But after hearing about their power, Kappa's really not too sure about either of them though, especially being with the Galactic Patrol. That could cause some issues. They're not actually working with the Galactic Patrol though, just basically training there. Gohan, Piccolo, and Mayris have been keeping an eye on them. And it has been a few months since this all happened, so they have grown a little bit. But they still don't really have too much of a control on their power. And that makes Vegeta think a little bit more about it. Maybe they are actually legendary Super Saiyans, and their unique DNA explains why they are that way, especially being fraternal twins, which is also pretty rare among Saiyans. They're fraternal twins, and they're pure Saiyan hybrids. They probably are the only of their kind to ever exist. But for now, they're still going to remain with the patrol, with Mayris basically keeping a watch over them. They live on Earth, but they're basically under his jurisdiction. Same for Paragus too, because they really want to keep a close eye on him. But it hasn't been just that. This entire time, Gohan and Piccolo have been training with Mayris as well again. And they've made use of something pretty interesting with the Galactic Patrol. They have some room you can go in where you could train for 3 days in 1 day. Of course, it's not as crazy as Earth's time chamber. But still, it's obviously a very efficient way to train. And now with all that under their belt, Gohan and Piccolo do want to see what the other Saiyans have been up to. Goku decides he's going to go first and show it off, and then the others tell him to wait as they all transform as well, trying to be the first one to show off this power. All of them stand there in Super Saiyan Blue. And Gohan's pretty intrigued. He never actually got that since he was working towards something else with Mayris. And he chuckles and tells them it's a secret for now since he can't really maintain it too well at the moment. But maybe he'll show them some other time. For now, he's really just stuck with Super Saiyan God. And Goku says that's funny, he didn't really expect Mayris to be that great of a teacher. By now, they actually do know his identity. Of course, he doesn't say this right to Mayris, but he does think Whis would be better, because Whis is also trying to teach them something beyond Super Saiyan Blue. But Goku still isn't too sure of what it is. It's something about moving their body on instinct alone. Vegeta and Caulifla weren't really too interested in it, but Kappa and him are training for it. That's interesting for Gohan to hear. That actually sounds really familiar. And he's about to ask Goku more about it, but then Piccolo decides to show off his new form. The other Saiyans can't believe it either. It's been a pretty fun form showcase. Even though Gohan and Piccolo aren't getting the same training as them, it still seems like their training, and of course their latent potential, is still pretty effective here. It makes sense with Piccolo basically being the fusion of the entire planet of Namek. And they do wonder how that planet's doing. All the Namekians that died were revived, of course. Although the ones that were fused into Piccolo couldn't be separated, obviously. and Piccolo does hope to return someday. But during this meeting on Earth, Jaco then rushes out with Meerus, and then a communicator that Cabba has starts beeping too. Jaco says he's glad that everyone's here too. The Galactic Patrol might need their help, and Cabba asks what's going on, but Meerus explains. It's all regarding the Galactic Patrol's strongest prisoner. His cell has been destroyed, and horrifyingly enough, they see empty cells around it as well. Does that mean multiple people have broken out? Actually no, only that strong prisoner escaped. The empty cells around him, they had husk of the people that were in there before. They didn't escape, they were killed, their power was drained. It's their strongest prisoner Moro that escaped, and he was trying to make it pretty quick. Thanks to Majin Buu's revival, he actually gained a good amount of magic back. Only temporarily though, but he sat on it, trying to build up a little bit more energy before his escape. And now was the time to do so. He worked quickly. Instead of breaking out into the vacuum of space, he broke into the prison, getting close enough to other cells around him so he could absorb their energy, taking some extra power alongside him. It's all thanks to the universal merge, especially with the Kais being freed from Buu. That allowed a little bit of his power to return, just enough for him to make this escape. And he's not even aware of what happened, but as he looks into it, he's eventually able to figure out what occurred. Interesting. It seems the two universes are one now. With all the extra power held by Buu and the Kais in this universal merge, Moro's seal was also stronger, and when it was broken, he gained a little bit of that residual energy. It had to go somewhere after all. This could make for a pretty interesting feast. While everyone on Earth hears the news from the Galactic Patrol, the Kais of course all gather together and figure out what to do here. This is a really big threat. The Kais from Universe 6 don't really like how Universe 7's always causing the issues, but they have been made aware of this a while ago. They try and figure out what's going on too, and they theorize Moro somehow got stronger from the merge, not knowing it was indirectly caused by that thanks to Buu. The Grand Supreme Kai isn't sure how this happened. He didn't even realize that seal had been broken. And somehow even more energy returned to him when that seal was broken too. This definitely has to be a result of Buu's awakening. Buu was stronger after all by default too. All they know is now, they need to do whatever they can to stop him. Nobody knows, but right now, he's heading towards New Namek. He aims to eat the entire Megaverse and take all the power within it. The Kais will need the help of Beerus and Champa though. The Grand Supreme Kai is a little bit weaker than before thanks to Buu, and Moro is stronger, so his sealing alone won't work. Even if they combine all the Kai's power together, they're not sure if they'll gather enough in time. By now, Moro could have already grown exponentially stronger. Plus, Shin and Fuwa can't directly fight either anyways, because if they die, then the Gods of Destruction die, and surely Moro would probably know about that. That would only play into his plans. Beerus and Champa are contacted, and they think it's best to just erase him. Although at the same time, they don't think he's a big enough threat now to resort to that. They are more than confident in their power, so if he does grow stronger, then they could just definitely erase him by then. Also, Beerus thinks this is a good test for the other Saiyans, and he actually has an alternate solution with the Kais. Something that's equally permanent, but also will have more advantages, as opposed to simply Hakkaiing him. And they're not even aware of it, but right now, the Saiyans are already on their way to Planet Namek. The Galactic Patrol already left before the gods started discussing it. They're not even aware that the Galactic Patrol is going right for them. They get all the Saiyans on Earth, as well as Piccolo obviously, and they even pick up Hit and Granola along the way. Meerus is a bit concerned because they're bringing a lot of people there, and Moro could just steal all their power. But they might have a plan to try and stop him. Plus, they kind of are going to need that power because by now, Moro's already made it to New Namek. Without having Goku being able to use instant transmission, they get to Namek a little bit later, and by the time they arrive, Moro has already summoned the Dragon Balls there, gaining his youth back. Meerus wonders why Beerus and Champa aren't involved. He gets why the Kais aren't here, but why are they not here too? They must have some other plan, because they could easily stop this, and they definitely are taking things more seriously recently because of everything with Zeno. Ever since the Megaversal merge, they wanted to do that. So he hopes they're taking this seriously too, but he's not too sure, knowing their history. At least having heard it from Whis and Vados. Everybody steps off the ship. Broly and Kale have actually come along too, but they watch from the inside, not involved in the fight. They wish they could have gotten here faster, but of course with no instant transmission, and without knowing where New Namek was, it did take a little bit longer even though they made haste. But it wasn't nearly quick enough. New Namek is already dead, a husk of its former self. They see energy emanating off the entire planet too. Moro's taking the last bits of it. And not just that, Galactic Patrol prisoners are showing up left and right. Cabba and Meerus got word of this on the way there, and Cabba and Caulifla decide they're going to work to stop them. Goku and Vegeta did want to fight Moro at first, but Cabba warns against it. They shouldn't fight him. Their energy could give Moro a lot of power. He would prefer that these two help against the other prisoners. Goku's a bit bummed about it, but he understands. And Vegeta doesn't know what to think, but fine, he'll go along with it because Meerus is agreeing too. But he asks about the other four, and Meerus says he plans to have them fight Moro. Apparently they have some sort of plan. Gohan, Piccolo, Granola, and Hit could actually work together against him. Everyone's still trying to clarify things about him. Caulifla's a bit surprised too because she knew about this prisoner but barely did any work at the Galactic Patrol, so she asks Cabba why he's such a big deal. And Cabba explains a little more. They don't know his exact goal. It might simply just be eating everything. But he's already briefed them on his abilities. For now, they'll just stop the prisoners, and Cabba hopes that the other group will be able to stop Moro while knowing his abilities. But apparently they have a way to work around it. Gohan's group flies across the planet, meeting Moro where he is right now. And Moro greets them. He doesn't know who they are, but welcomes them here. They're definitely not native to this planet, and he wonders why they're here, but he won't really question it. He assumes they're here to stop him, but he says it's far too late. But this is good because he has more snacks here now. They do seem powerful after all. Granola's slate powers up and both his eyes turn red, as he tries to analyze every little bit of Moro. This is good. He might have found a place where he could strike him. He and Hit start out by attacking, actually catching Moro by surprise. Pretty quickly, he's able to tell that they're doing something with controlling time. He tries to take energy from them, but it's a little bit tough because they're just moving around without him being able to do anything. Their time skip by now is even greater, and pure progress has made them grow even stronger than before too. But now they've evolved their time control even beyond that. They've gained some pretty good new abilities, and not only could they just time skip now, they can actually stop time briefly. And this is really helpful for their attacks, especially with Granola being able to locate vital points within Moro. This actually does injure him. He's amused. They're pretty smart, but he's growing stronger throughout the fight. He's still absorbing some energy left over from this planet, and he's going to take a little bit from them too. But Granola says it doesn't matter. He and Hit together will be able to defeat him, especially with the help of Gohan and Piccolo. Piccolo decides they might need to pull out their trump card immediately. And Moro wonders what those two are capable of. What, are they going to control time as well? Actually, no. The two complete their power-up. Not much has changed physically, but their aura, it's pretty intense, and you can see their eyes. They've slightly changed color, and they have a dead gaze within them. They look completely emotionless. This is the result of their training with Meerus. This is Ultra Instinct Omen. They don't really have too much of good control on it now, but they could transform into it willingly, and here it might be good to fight Moro. And this group is actually the perfect counter for him. Granola and Hit's ability to control time allows them to attack pretty effectively, also kind of working against Moro's magic. And of course, Gohan and Piccolo using Ultra Instinct Omen works the same way it did for Goku when he fought Moro using that form. Moro has been growing stronger throughout the fight and actually did take some energy from Granola and Hit, but he also did take some damage thanks to the vital points being hit. But now he's losing, pretty badly in fact. The four of them are pretty much immune to Moro's magic now. Not actually immune, but he can't really do too much against them. And not just that, they work together too. Granola and Hit take Gohan and Piccolo in a time skip, just like they were doing against Broly and Kale before. They're able to take them along when they're skipping time or stopping time. Although the time skipping doesn't really help much because Gohan and Piccolo are fast enough anyways to even outspeed them. Their time stop is actually a little bit more effective here. And meanwhile, the Super Saiyan Blues are actually doing pretty well against the prisoners. And Kappa's pretty happy. They're gonna get all these prisoners back to the prison, and he thinks that the others are gonna be able to defeat Moro. The prisoners are powerful because Moro did give them some energy, and thankfully right now he's too preoccupied to take their energy as well. They're making pretty good progress at defeating the prisoners, and it seems like a victory is assured here. They're gonna defeat Moro, and it's all gonna work out easily, but they do wonder what Gohan's group is up to right now. And Moro is actually losing ground, pretty quickly in fact. But all Moro needs is one opening. He just needs one small opening, and he knows how he could win here. And he gets that. He unleashes a bunch of energy around him, flinging everyone back. Gohan and Piccolo dodge easily, but Granola and Hit, they're a little bit more vulnerable. And this is a great distraction. Moro uses this to then strike Granola, piercing right through his chest. One time skipper down, and he takes all of Granola's energy too while he's at it. He then flings up lava around all of them, but once the lava dissipates, he's gone. Granola's just left there on the ground bleeding out. Moro's actually flying across the planet now to where the other prisoners are. He's mad at himself for getting too cocky there, but this will assure his victory. The Super Saiyan Blues continue fighting, but they're starting to feel weakened and start powering down. And all the remaining prisoners collapse as well, completely being drained of all their energy. Goku weakly looks up in the sky and says that Moro's coming for them. He then collapses, followed by Vegeta and Caulifla, with Kappa being the last one conscious. Moro simply smiles at him and thanks him for the energy, as he holds a ball of ki in front of him and eats it. Kappa collapses to the ground, and Moro has one more trump card that he could pull out. After all, they were using their trump card too, so Moro should pull out his trump card as well. This will assure victory, and assure that he gets to eat the entire Megaverse. Gohan's group flies over, with Hit bringing Granola back to the ship. Meerus does have some senzu beans there. Gohan and Piccolo are the only ones that see Moro right now. They see him from behind, but Moro slowly turns around. It looks like he's eating someone, and then he transforms completely. If Granola and Hit were here right now, they'd know what's going on. Same for Kappa and Caulifla if they were conscious. But it looks like he ate some prisoner and they don't know who it is. Moro used this opportunity to eat 7-3, absorbing him and now having all of his powers. He admits to them that they almost won there. Had he not seen that opening, they probably would have killed him pretty easily. But now this pretty much seals the deal, as he then quickly vanishes behind Gohan and Piccolo, grabbing onto both their necks. Fascinating, these powers are pretty nice. He then stretches his arms out and drives them into the ground below, absorbing their energy while he's at it. He then turns around to see Hit and Granola are there alongside Meerus, and he thanks them for making this so easy for him. The three of them see the gems on Moro and realize what happened. Did he absorb 7-3 somehow? Moro then stretches his arms again, grabbing onto Hit and Granola. They then fall to the ground having their energy drained too, and Meerus can't believe what he's watching. The Galactic Patrol ship floats nearby as well, with Broly and Kale watching through a window, and Moro tells Meerus to deliver a message for them. When they're stronger, come find him. He'd love to have another snack and absorb their energy again. That's why he left everyone alive here. And now might be a good time to test his abilities. He then vanishes from sight. He doesn't teleport away though, it's just everything changes all at once. Meerus looks around. All the prisoners that were once there, they're turned into husk now. He can't see Moro anywhere. In that instant, he briefly stopped time, rapidly moving around and taking the remainder of everyone's energy, completely killing the rest of the prisoners around him. And it takes Meerus a second to realize what happened. He did that same weird twitch that Hit does when he does his time skip. But it wasn't just simply that, he completely stopped time. He must have attacked during that time stop. Beerus rushes to wake everybody back up. Glad that they aren't dead. But now, they really need to work quickly and figure out what to do next. Moro might be too strong to defeat at this point. And who knows what's going to happen next? How strong can he truly grow, and what is his plan? We'll be seeing that in the next part. This is where we'll leave off for now. What'd you guys think about this part and what's going to happen next time? Leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It lets me know you want to see more videos like this or more parts of the series, and it does help out the channel a lot. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.